your spirit, we will overcome. For his blood is the reckoning.
While I was doing some research yesterday, I was revealed some things that I had no idea about. The Lord showed me at about 3 o'clock in the morning these things. I wasn't even researching that intentionally to find that. And I found some things out that the Lord had delivered me from. Like, I knew He delivered me from certain things on a very, basic level. But He began to show me the details. And I wanted to share it with y'all because I think it's very important that I do share this. It's been a tussle back and forth with, oh, am I going to say something? Am I not going to say something? But I remember later on yesterday after I had woken up, because it was 3 o'clock in the morning when I saw this, and I was just like, wow. And then, I was tired, so I went to sleep. But later on that day, I did a little more research, and I was looking at it, and I saw descriptions and details concerning this specific thing, and the Lord was like, you need to share that. And I was just so grateful to Him because I was just like, thank you, Jesus. Like, I cried on the inside and I was about to cry on the outside because it's like, Lord, you care about me that much. You care about your people that much. Some of y'all may know that, maybe not all of y'all, because some of y'all may be new to this page or whatever. But the Lord delivered me from being trans and homosexual. I was in the LGBTQ community for some years. I don't even know when it really started at the moment, but He delivered me from that from August 21st, 2021 was whenever I rededicated my life back to Him, and He told me things that I need to let go of, and He began to heal me in certain areas, and He's just like, get to know me more, get to know me more. And that's why I emphasize people get to know God more, because when you get to know Him, you know who you are in Him, and you are stable. Like, there's nothing else that can move you. Like, when you know God, that's it. Like, the enemy can't lie to you anymore. That's it. Well, he can lie to you, but whether you believe it or not, right? Too many of us believe the lies of the enemy, but then we don't believe the report of the Lord. But it should not be. But the Lord delivered me from homosexuality and trans, especially being trans, because that was like a whole switch. I thought I was supposed to be a man. Like, I thought I was a man. And the enemy was lying to me. So I wrote down in my journal, that's what I keep looking at right now. But you know how demons, for example, in the New Testament, when a man was demonized and he had demons living on the inside of him, and Jesus was like, commanding the demon to come out, or really it was demons, like multiple. And the demons were like, I am Legion. Like, they had a title, they had a label, they had a name, right? So the Lord showed me that it wasn't just the spirit of perversion, it wasn't just a seducing spirit that had me. This specific spirit by name, or spirits by name, was called Eros. In 2019, I used to be into Greek mythology, or the Greek religion, if one of people say that. Like Percy Jackson. Like, I wasn't deep in the fandom like that. I just read the books and enjoyed them. And I knew Eros was like a god, like lowercase g god. Like, I knew that. But while I was exploring being trans and figuring out the identity and figuring out a name, guess what nickname or name came to mind? Eros. For a short amount of time, I went by Eros for a minute, and I whenever I looked into this Greek god, I was looking at the characteristics, the description, and what this Greek god stood for, and it was literally the very exact characteristics that I had adopted or took upon myself. Like, that was the identity that was given to me by that spirit. It was Eros. Like, I heard the name in my mind. Like, the name popped up like a thought and was like, Eros. And I was like, okay. the Lord showed me that this was a demon. It was an imp. And while I was researching, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read what I have right here. I said, when I was researching Greek gods, I came across Aphrodite, who is also considered the mother of Eros, aka in the Roman, these are Greek gods, but in the Roman god equivalent is Cupid. He is known as the god of love, lust, sex, and desire. He is known to be a handsome young man full of mischief. He is one of the, I think it's pronounced erots. And erotes are sometimes linked to particular aspects of love and are often associated with same-sex desire. I had no idea of this until yesterday. And I'm just like in awe because God showed this to me and he was like, this is what I delivered you from. This is the characteristic of the spirit. And it was a name, Eros. This is a group of spirits that operate in this vein. The presence of Eros in otherwise non-sexual images, such as two women, has been interpreted to indicate homoerotic subtext. Eros is also part of a triad of gods. So he's in a group, and they play the role of homoerotic relationships along with, I think this is Heracles and Hermes, who bestowed qualities of beauty onto male lovers. Now, Eros, aka Cupid, is a major icon and symbol for Valentine's Day and is known as Cupid, why I keep saying Cupid for a reason, who uses his arrows to get people to fall in love even if it's unlawful. One of the animals he symbolizes is a deer. Now, the reason why I put this, and I even looked it up, and it said that he's either usually riding a deer or like a deer is somewhere in some of the art. I said deer because 2019, literally around the same time, like I have a whole reference drawing that I had of my new persona. And I identified as well as a were-deer. And I really liked deer at the time. There's nothing wrong with a deer. It's just that it's not a coincidence that I literally had the nickname Eros and was operating under transgenderism and homosexuality at the same time, and that I called myself a were-deer. Like, I'll even put a picture here. Like, this was not a coincidence. Like, that spirit was over me, like, oppressing me. Like, I was a Christian at the time, but I didn't understand my authority. I didn't understand my identity in Christ. I knew a lot of the torment that I was going through was because of the enemy, but I didn't know why. I didn't understand what was happening. Like, I was like, I hate the devil and blah, 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 blah. Like, I knew he had something to do with it, but I was so into, like, what I could do and me that I lost focus of God for a long time. Like, now I'm going to tell y'all something, and a lot of y'all may not like this. Eros, aka Cupid, is often depicted in Renaissance art and even Christian art, but many have known him by being a cherub, or cherubim for plural. So in traditional art, he is known as Puto. Puto is a figure in art depicted as a chubby male child, usually naked, and is very often winged. He usually has wings. And it's not just usually one, it's multiple, and it's these small looking boys, and they're usually chubby and naked, and they have angel wings or bird wings or wings, right? This is Puto, aka cherub, aka Eros, Cupid. Originally, it was limited to profane passions in symbolism. But later it represents a sort of baby angel known as cherub or cherubim, as I said before. These creatures influence human lives in different cultures and is a type of guardian spirit. Now, I want y'all to Google this, or research it, do something, because this is just a very basic, brief rundown, because this is what the Lord was revealing to me, and I was just like, wow. Y'all do y'all research. Many people perish because of lack of knowledge. It's not a guardian angel. It would probably be defined as like a spirit guide of some sort. Or it's also known as a daemon, which means deity or knowing and wise. So these creatures also go out to obtain information and they bring it back. That sounds like a what? Monitoring spirit, familiar spirit, is all divination as well. That's evil. That's wicked. These creatures, these cherubim or cherub, aka Eros, Cupid, Putos, are also known as imps. If you know what an imp is, it's a mischievous spirit. Also, it's similar to a fairy or demon, which you might as well call it a demon because that's what it is. I had no idea of this information, and I took on those characteristics of Eros. And the Lord was like, I delivered you from that. And I constantly have to fight it because it tries to pop up sometimes. I'm like, oh no, you're not allowed here because there's no legal access for you. So if you have any like pictures, towels, drawings of these little tiny fairies or like elves, imps, Cupid, Valentine's Day is coming up in the world. And so many Christians are participating in this holiday and they're drawing Cupid. And I'm like, I was tormented by the spirit, and so are so many other people. So many other people are being tormented by these spirits. And now it's under the umbrella of perversion and seduction. We should already know that. If you don't, now you know. But people are being tormented by these things, and Christians find it like it's nothing when they're drawing Cupid or like these baby cherub looking things. Now, I'm not saying the cherub in general is bad because the Bible talks about cherub. It talks about cherubim. The description of what the cherub looks like in the Bible is completely different from the cherub that I just explained to you through Eros. Like, that's completely the puto. That's different. If you look at the description in the Bible of cherubim, you know that they're not little boys naked with angel wings, or that's what we say, angel wings. They do have wings, but they're not little kids. They're not little boys that are naked. And if you really think about it, they're not originated in like the Eros. It's not perverse. They're not perverse. They're holy. They're holy creatures. Cherub was first mentioned in Genesis 3:24, where they guarded the way of the tree of life after Adam and Eve were exiled from the Garden of Eden. And then it's on the Ark of the Covenant. There's two of them, but they're not kids. They're not little boys. They're 7 feet tall. But no, I'm sure it's much more grand in heaven. But they're not little children and they're not naked. And then there's, of course, the other cherubim, the 4 living creatures around the throne. I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm trying to paint a picture for y'all that these are two separate entities, two separate beings, and I don't want my fellow brethren to be deceived into thinking that these baby angels are holy, and they're not.